It is extremely funny to me that Yu-Gi-Oh! Can have such a diverse art style, right? You can have giant dragons, you can have whatever the hell Kashtira is, you can have anime women for Labyrinth, and then you can also have a little cat, and the little cat can end up beating all of them. Let's see what this little cat is capable of, shall we? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Pay8. I'm feeling great, and I'm coming at you with another spicy deck profile. I have been waiting so long for this deck to get the support that it deserves, and here it is. Now we finally have it. Introducing Tier 1 Purrely. This is a pure build. It's got a couple interesting tech cards that I think are pretty solid in the deck, but there's nothing super crazy to it otherwise. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get right into it, because there's a decent amount of cards to explain. So for the monsters, there's only 2 monsters in the archetype, at least in the main deck. 3 copies of Purrely, 3 copies of Purrelyly. So this guy, non-once per turn on summon, excavates top 3, takes 1 excavated Purrely spell or trap, places the rest on bottom in any order, and then can reveal a quick play, summon the monster from the extra deck that mentions that quick play, using it as material, and attach the revealed card as material. So that's a soft once per turn. Pretty cool, just lets you tag into your guys. Lily is a similar sort of thing. On normal or special, adds a Purrely card from deck to hand except a quick play, and then does the same thing, targeting a quick play spell in graveyard instead, summoning monster, mentions it, using it as material, and then attaching the targeted card. Really, really good cards. Lily is notably a hard once per turn on both effects, so if you resolve your Lily but still want to summon off of your guy, you are typically summoning this, and then just trying to get bonus cards. You know, bonus cards are always good. So that's it for the monsters. We have some hand traps now. We've got 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 3 copies of Ash, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. There's a card in the list that comes later you can cut for a 3rd Ghost Ogre, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Droll is just fantastic next format, so is Ogre, and then Ash is still good for like Branded and stuff like that. Just really, really good cards. If you've been keeping up with the meta trends that are coming, you know that these are going to be some of the best hand traps next format. Getting into the spell cards. We have 3 copies of My Friend Purrely. It's kind of heart and soul of the deck. Pays 500 life, reveals 3 Purrely cards from deck. They can be the same card, but they cannot be another copy of Friend. Your opponent randomly adds 1 to your hand, the other 2 get shuffled back, and then if a Purrely exceeds, leaves the field while it's face up, even during the damage step, by the way, because of your opponent's card, you can just add up to 3 Purrely quick play spells with different names from grave to hand. So it is search spell and multi-roll in one. That is broken. This card is just so good. Just gets all your plays going if you needed to. It's a fantastic card. The quick plays have a lot of text, and they all do kind of unique things, but they also have common effects as well. Let's just get right into it, because there's a lot to talk about. So we play 3 Pretty, 3 Delicious, 3 Happy, and 3 Sleepy. So they all have the effect to do something, then you can discard a card, and if you do summon a level 1 Purrely from deck, that summoning from deck is the common effect. You'll hear me refer to that often when I'm describing these cards. So the common effect is the summon from deck. Just keep that in mind. So Pretty has each player gain 1,000, and then you can do the common effect, and then a Purrely exceeds that has this card's material can once per turn send 1 other card you control to the graveyard, and then target a card your opponent controls and attach it as material. So this is just spot removal. Really, really good. Delicious Memory chooses 1 monster on the field, and it can't be destroyed by battle on the next turn. Then you can apply the common effect, and while a Purrely exceeds has this card's material, that monster gains 300 attack and defense for each material attached to it. That effect stacks. So if you have 2 copies of Delicious, you can have your monster gain 600 attack for each material, which helps your guys get very large very quickly. This deck can OTK almost at the drop of a hat. Happy Memory chooses a card on the field, and then once until the end of the next turn, it can't be destroyed by card effects. Then you can apply the common effect to summon from deck, obviously. And the Purrely exceeds the hazard card's material gains the following effect: to be able to attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of happy memory attached to it +1. That effect's fine. You're not really doing the cheese line with little happiness anymore, but you can sometimes do it if you need to. It's okay. I mean, it's still a name, so we're going to play it. Also, insulating your continuous spell from Ghost Ogre is a really big application of this card this coming format. It's just solid. Pretty makes the next battle or effect damage you take this turn 0. Then you can discard a card, do the common effect, and then Epurrely Happiness that has the card's material gains the effect to once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can draw a card. And that effect also stacks, and it's a soft once per turn as I mentioned, so you have 2 of these attached to your monster, you get to draw 2, and if you use the trap to rank up, that monster gets to draw 2 as well. This is the combo that everyone's freaking out about, and it's pretty good. They're all crazy though, because they all just summon your guys from deck. That makes the deck just hyper consistent in that regard. It's really, really nice. And then last Purrely store we're playing is just 2 copies of straight Purrely Street. This makes your Purrelys untargetable during the turn of their special summon. And then if Epurrely Happiness leaves the field because your opponent's card, you mandatory special a level 1 Purrely from deck or grave. And then, once per turn during the end phase, you can target a Epurrely Happiness on the field and attach 1 Purrely quick play from deck or grave to that monster's material. This is how you get your Sleeping Memories in rotation, because there's not currently a monster that mentions Sleeping Memory. That changes after Duelist Nexus, then the deck gets even better. But for the time being, it's still really, really good. That is it for the Purrely spells, quite a lot of them as we can see. The rest of the deck is just solid power cards. So we're playing 3 triple tactics. It's just broken going first or going second. Even if you get Droll, you can still just rip a card out of your opponent's hand. It's so, so nice. Some people are playing a discard engine, some are not. I like playing just double copies of Metalfoes Fusion, because it can draw a card if you needed to, but also, unlike all the other discard engines like Volcanic Shell or Snow, or even Shaw Beast, this is a spell, which means you can attach it with Plump if you need to make a Noir, or a big Happiness, because sometimes that happens. I just really, really like it, especially since it puts itself back. You technically have infinite draws as long as you can keep finding it and discarding it. It's pretty cool. The rest of the deck, 1 Upstart, 1 Called By, 1 Herald of the Abyss. This was a remnant of what used to be a main deck thrust package. But all of my thrust targets, I was either already maining them, like the 3rd Talents, or it's like Feather Duster, which is only really good in highly specialized matchups like Labyrinth. I don't think it's good in the main. This just pays 15 to out any monster, so it's just a solid 40th card, along with Upstart. You could cut either of these or both of them for more hand shots if you want to, but I just like having a critical mass of spells to make Plump as impactful as possible, as often as possible. And then the 1 Leap, you could play 2 if you want. I don't know, at least the field spell can like insulate you playing into boards. I don't want to draw this going second. Still a really good card though, and if you need it, you can typically find it, but 1 has been fine for me. So that's it for the main deck. A lot of spells as we can see. There's a reason people call this deck like Eevee Striker, which I really like. I like Eevee, I like Striker. I'm a happy guy. So the extra deck is split into 2 camps. You have the smaller Epurrelys and the bigger Expurrelys. So we'll start with the Epurrelys first. So 2 apiece of Beauty, Plump, and Happiness. So these are all the ones that mention the quick play spells, and they have unique effects that become quick effects, except for Happiness. We'll just describe them one at a time. So Beauty can once per turn target an effect monster your opponent controls, gains effects till end of turn. This is a quick effect if it has Pretty Memory as material, which it almost always will. So it's just a quick effect chalice, which is pretty cool. And then up to thrice per turn, when you activate a Purrely quick play spell as a quick effect, you can attach that card on the field to this card's material. Then you can change the battle position of 1 monster opponent controls. We're not typically doing that. Sometimes you can switch their things to attack so that you can kill it and kill them. That effect is probably the weakest of the attach effects. Plump can once per turn target up to 2 spells or traps in either graveyard and attach them as material. Quick effect if it has a Delicious Memories material. So against some matchups, if you're randomly like against like Eldritch or something, I don't expect that to happen, but if it is, you can snipe their elixirs and their gold lands out of grave, which is really funny. And then the banished effect of this guy is attached to the card, and then you can banish a monster on the field to the end phase. So this is just a non-targeting, well, banish one monster on the field till the end phase. This is just a non-targeting, non-once per turn Farfa. It's actually really, really good. Helps you just clean up boards if you need to, and then also make one of your big rank 7s. And then Happiness, I compare to like a Farm Girl or a Hayate. So this does not have a quick effect if it has the Happy Memory, but what it does have is that if at the end of damage step this card battled, you can add a Purrely card from deck to hand. Also, if this card has Happy Memories material, you can have the attack of one face-up monster on the field. This enables some cheesy lines where you would OTK your opponent by swinging into their monster over and over. We're not typically doing that. And then up to thrice per turn, when you activate a quick play spell, that is a Purrely quick play spell, I mean, you can attach it, then you can return a spell trap card your opponent controls to the hand. We play 2 of each of these. Some lists play 1 Happiness. I recognize that sometimes you have to make Noir with one of these by ranking it up with the trap card. So I wanted to have the ability to use any one of them to do that, and then have exactly one more for their intended purposes, whether that's like getting a bunch of material and making a big Zeus or killing your opponent, making another rank 7, or having a negate. I liked having exactly 2 apiece of them. These ratios have been really, really good for me. So that's it for the smaller Epurrelys. Let's get to the big boys. So we have 2 copies of Noir and 1 copy of Big Happiness. So Noir, they both have the effect to, you can also summon them by using a rank 2 monster with 5 or more materials. Both of them have that, like I said. Noir is unaffected by opponent's activated effects while it has 5 or more materials. And then you can detach 2 from this card, then target a card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, place it on the bottom of the deck. That is not once per turn or once per chain. And it's a quick effect if it has a level 1 Purrely's material. This is the towers that everyone's talking about. It's a really good card. And then Big Happiness can, during my main phase, detach a material from this card. And if I do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls to the end of the turn. And then if this card is a level 1 Purrely, your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. So this is like Dark Ruler if you need. If this was a lower impact monster, like a lower, like one of the rank 2s, that effect would be really good. But because you're already committing relatively hard into it, you probably have already negated their effects or dealt with their monsters anyway. But it's fine. And then when an attack is declared involving this card that has 5 or more materials, inflict 1500 damage to your opponent. This is typically, if you don't have the cheesy Happiness line, this is typically how you OTK, because you can get this thing with 2 delicious memories. It goes to like 77, and then you whack, and then the extra 15 from burn damage is usually enough. Rest of the Xyz monsters is just 2 copies of Zeus for Kashtira reasons, and 1 copy of Lyrilusc Ensemble Robin, because the deck has level 1s. Being able to put up Noir plus Ensemble is actually really gross, because the Ensemble only has 1000 attack and 2 materials. So most decks would just normally normal summon a monster and swing over her, but that's never happening with Noir on field. So being able to, having to deal with both of them at the same time can actually be very annoying. So I think she's good. I haven't really missed the Assembled Nightingale, I think is the Zeus maker, because the deck typically just has a good enough time making Zeus anyway. If Cash kind of falls off or Mind Hacker gets banned, you can cut one of the Zeuses and it's probably fine. But that's just been fine for me. Then the rest of the extra deck is just a couple good Link monsters. We're playing a Linkuriboh, sometimes for your end board. Also can, if it's the moment it hits the board and it then is engraved, you can just use it to always dodge imperms on your level 1 monsters, which is really nice. Anima to punish sloppy zone placement, and then because we're playing monsters of different types because of these 2, we also just have Donner, just good removal. So that is it for the deck profile. Let's get to some test hands, because this deck has some really cool lines of play that you can do. Alrighty y'all, welcome to the test hands portion of the video. There's not a lot of like set in stone combos. It really just kind of depends on what you draw. Like a lot of other decks in this format, you have your end board, but you have different ways of getting there. So I'm just gonna run 3 test hands. If you want to see it in the comments, because the deck kind of has some RNG to it, let me know if you want to see just a full video of just test hands. If you want that, I can happily do that. But for the moment, we'll run through our 3 hands. Hand number 1 is Droll, Purrely, Talents, My Friend, and Happy Memory. This seems pretty alright. I'm gonna lead with the little guy and activate his effect. I just want to see what I hit. Droll, Herald, Delicious. Delicious is crazy here because it means we don't have to search that with the friend. That's everything we want. So we will activate friend. We're gonna pay 5. We're gonna reveal 3 copies of Sleepy Memory, I think. That feels fine. Actually, no, we'll do... God, that feels weird, actually. I think I want to do Sleepy Memory and 2 copies of Field Spell. Just because we don't play 3. We were never playing 3 Field Spell, that because the Field Spell doesn't actually do anything on its own. But just depends on what we hit off of our Lily. So we will do that. It is random, so roll the dice. Got 4, so we get that. We get a Sleepy Memory. It's not exactly what we want, but we can still make it work. So we will activate Delicious, making Purrely indestructible battle until the end of the next turn, and then discarding the Sleepy Memory to summon Lily. We will use Lily's effect. Here we will search for the copy of... I think I want to go for Leap, so we will do that. We will add the Leap. Then we will activate Lily, targeting Delicious, making Plump. We will activate Plump, targeting Sleepy Memory. Because I want to maintain the Happy Memory. It doesn't really do too much for me here. Actually, what am I kidding? We're not doing that yet. Keep the Sleepy Engrave. We will activate Happy, and we will chain Plump, attaching the Happy. Resolve, making this indestructible by battle by card effects, once till the end of the next turn, discarding the talents, and summoning a second copy of Purrely. Purrely on summon, we will reveal top 3. Delicious, talents, Lily. We'll take a Delicious, it's just more follow-up. And then we will Plump, attach these 2 as material, make Noir. Actually, no, we don't make Noir, that's a mistake. I forgot we searched the trap card. I don't know. I'm not very good at this game. We will exceed both of these into Ensemble. And we will just set the trap and pass. So what this does is our opponent draws during their standby. Sleepy Memory will draw a card. Drawing Ash, okay. Double standby, we will leave targeting Plump. Summon Noir, and then trigger Noir with Sleepy Memory as well to draw an additional card. So we drew 2, and we have a 6 material Noir, which is 3 spins, plus an Ensemble, plus Droll, plus Ash, plus the add-backs of Friend. So we can see very, very quickly how this deck can almost immediately get out of hand, especially if it's uninterrupted. So that was it for hand number 1. That kind of shows the high roll. You're typically getting somewhere around there, but it's not guaranteed every single game. Sometimes you are ending on just a bunch of hand traps with a beauty pass. I also apologize for sniffles. It is allergy season. I'm trying my best. I want to still get y'all content, especially since there's not really a lot of new format Purrely lists out there right now. I kind of wanted to be one of the first going for that. But yes, so that is hand number 1. Let me just get these put back and we get right to hand number 2. Quick cut of the deck, and then top 5. Pretty Memory, Talents, Droll, Sleepy, Talents. These are Yu-Gi-Oh cards. These are certainly cards. So what I'm going to do here is I will, in draw phase, activate Pretty. This just plays around Droll, discarding Talents, after both players gain 1,000 of course, and summon our copy of Lily. Lily's effect will activate. I will search for... It is a little bit of a decision. I think I want to just go for Field Spell. I think that seems like the best idea. Could also go for Friend. Actually, what am I talking about? We're always going for Friend because we don't have consistent access to whatever else we want. So we will Friend. I will pay 5. Going for... Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, we can always do that. Revealing 3 copies of Delicious Memory. I just grabbed 1 because we know it's not anywhere else. Then we will activate Delicious Memory. Make Lily indestructible, discarding the talents. summoning the regular Purrely. An effect of regular Purrely. Reveal top 5. Anything here is bonus. Okay, Pretty Memory is just insane. That means instead of ending on a Linkuriboh, we also get to end on a Beauty with the Noir, which is pretty cool. Lily effect will target Delicious, making the Plump, little fat guy himself, activate his effect, attaching the Pretty and one of the talents. And then we will activate Purrely, revealing Pretty to summon Beauty. Then we will Sleepy Memory, just making the next damage 0, chain Plump, just attaching. We will not be summoning from deck, and then we will make that into a Noir. I mean, that's pretty solid. We only have one draw that we're getting here, but we just have the follow-up because of Friend, and we're not getting killed through Beauty, Noir, and Droll. It's very hard to do that. Yep, so we pass, stand by, we draw a card. Okay, another Friend is just insane, so even if this one gets cleared, we have follow-up. It's just really, really good. Yeah, there's not really much else to say. I mean, we just, like, that's just so hard to deal with, especially since the Noir gets big because of Delicious Memory. So that's it for hand number 2. We got one more. Plump and Beauty back to the extra deck, and Noir back as well. Alrighty, what do we get for this third and final test hand? Ash Blossom, Pretty Memory, Happy, and Ash. Okay. These, once again, are Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So in draw phase, once again to play around Droll, we will activate Pretty, gain both players 1,000, discard the Ash Blossom, and summon the Lily. Then we will activate Lily, searching for our continuous spell. So this kind of showcases one of the lesser hands, I think, because we don't already have a Sleepy, so there's not as much incentive to go for the Noir line, but we will see where these cards get us. So we will activate Friend. Friend will pay 5. We're gonna go for, I want to say we go for Sleepy, but it feels mid. So if we do that, we can go, if we search Field Spell, we can just make the Beauty, attach a draw, and then also have more material off of that. Because we attached the Sleeping Memory, but we could also just reveal 3 Sleeping Memories and try to get there the hard way. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna reveal 3 Sleepies. We know they're not in the deck. We know, we know there's not one in the hand, so I'll just take one. And I will activate Lily, targeting Pretty, making the Beauty. And now we kind of see where a little bit of RNG comes into it. We kind of need this Purrely to hit a little bit if we want to go really crazy. So we will Sleepy, and we will chain Beauty off of that. Attaching, discarding, I want to just discard the Pretty, and summon the regular Purrely. We will activate the effect of regular Purrely, seeing what we find. Nothing, we whiffed. That is, oh, that's a catastrophe. Okay. Oh well. So then we can just link this for Linkuriboh. Yeah, we could just set the Happy if we want to. Just so we can also just switch our opponent's monster defense so they will just kill this. It's not the worst. We pass, we get a draw during our opponent's turn. Metalfoes is cool for follow-up because we're probably getting something back. We have a Negate, we have an Ash, and we have a way to switch the thing to defense and Linkuriboh to make sure it doesn't die, and then we have Recursion following that up. So we're probably still like in there in terms of the grind game, but we can see how just sometimes you don't always get to Noir. It's a little hard to get it consistently. You're getting it more than half the time, which is usually enough because Noir is insane. But still doing Beauty Pass with just very annoying cards to get rid of, like Friend, is still usually good enough. But yeah, that is basically all I have to say about the deck at the current moment. There's a lot more room for exploration with the deck. I know there's a bunch of different builds, a bunch of different sub-engines people are testing with. There's just so much that you can do, and I'm just really excited about it. But on that note, I have been Pay8. I'm still feeling great. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.